This podcast should not be listened to whilst driving or operating heavy machinery. This is Living Lightly with Jenny Light. Yogic philosophy, guided meditations, and pranayamas. Please subscribe for all future podcasts. Welcome to today's session. Enjoy.
Today's session is on peace. We're moving into the International Day of Peace, so I want to kind of set the scene. We have this idea of peace somehow being the absence of something, i.e. the absence of conflict or war, which is a negative connotation of peace. But what you find when you go deep in meditation is that the peace arises from within is very powerful, and it's not an absence of anything, it's actually a power and a presence in its own right. And no one can take that away from you unless you choose to allow them to erode it, to actually have result. That arises from within. St. Catherine of Genoa, talking about it from her perspective of religious devotion, the peace that has arisen. She's obviously doing it in very kind of flowery, fanciful language that was used in her time. When the good God calls us in this world, he finds us full of vices and sins, and his first work is to give us the instinct to practice virtue. He then entices us to desire perfection, and afterwards, by infusing grace, he conducts us to the true self-knotting, and finally, to the true transformation. This is the extraordinary road along which God conducts the soul. But when the soul is thus knotted, and he means knotted as in zeroed and transformed, it no longer works or speaks or wills or feels or understands or has in itself any knowledge, either of which is internal or external, which could possibly affect it. And in all these things God is its director and guide without the help of any other creature. She goes on to say, in this state, the soul is in such peace and tranquillity that it seems to her that both soul and body are immersed in a sea of profoundest peace, from which she would not issue for anything that which would happen in this life. She remains immovable, imperturbable, and neither her humanity nor her spirit feels anything except the sweetest peace, for which she is so full that her flesh, her bones, her nerves were pressed, nothing would issue from them but peace. And all day long she sings softly to herself for joy, saying, now I shall show thee what God is. No one finds peace apart from him. And I think what she's referring to is what in the Bible is referred to as peace that surpasseth understanding, is that peace that arises from within, that many of the mystics and sages talk about is this deep inner peace. And it's a state which arises from within in deep meditation. That is what we're attaining towards. Okay, so it's I can't remember which eminent person said it, but peace is to be achieved first within, not without in the world. It's seeming paradox there that you, in order to have peace in the external world, you're actually doing an internal journey away from the world, because you can make more change by emanating that peace. You affect more souls on that level. Well, that's the way of the mystics anyway. Inner peace is a state that is always within. It's as if you are a golden ball, and that ball is a ball of peace, but you can't see it because you've covered it up with all these layers of grime, of restlessness, irritations, outward focus into the world, desires, whatever. It's covering the light of that golden ball, and that golden ball should be shining. It should be emanating peace. It can't get seen by you because it's been covered. Your focus is external, into whatever's happening outside in the world, and that takes you away from that inner state of peace. All of the mystics concur in this, that inner state of peace is within, and it's ever present. Another word for that inner peace would be God. It's one of the manifest ways of knowing that you have somehow touched the divine, is when you realise that there's a deep peace from within. By developing that inner peace, I'd like us all to touch that inner peace within. Intellectual quote or great inspiration, but there's no shortcut, and the job is meditation. So, bless us, dear God, to be aware of thy presence now and here, the mind of my mind, the breath of my breath, the life of my life, the soul of my soul. May peace and goodwill abide among individuals, countries and nations. May peace be to all. And then we'll breathe in, and then breathing out, let all the tension flood out of the body. And just keeping the eyes closed, notice how you feel. So we're being aware that the body breathes. And I would like you to imagine that you are smoothing in the inhale and allowing the breath to smooth out, as if the breath were moving on a smooth surface. At times it can be as if the breath were breathing on a washboard, which is a rippled surface. Instead, transfer your imagination to the breath breathing in over a smooth surface and out over a smooth surface. And then we're going to add in the mental mantra, which is so on the inhale, ham on the exhale. So on the inhale, breathing over a smooth surface as you take the breath into the body, so. And ham as you breathe out, allowing the breath to flow over that smooth surface. Inhale the mental mantra so, exhale mental mantra ham. So, ham. I'd like you to imagine that smooth surface we're now within the brain, so that as you breathe in, you're breathing over the frontal lobes. So on the inhale, ham on the exhale. And then allowing the breath to smooth over the whole of the brain. So on the inhale, as if there were a gentle wind blowing through the brain. And ham on the exhale, soothing down the nerves of the body. Almost as if you were stroking them into calm. So on the inhale, ham on the exhale. Really experience the breath blowing like a wind through the brain. As this breath, this wind blows through the brain, bringing calm to the nerves of the brain, there is a sense of expansion. So the space inside the skull expands. allowing your intake of breath to flow behind the eyes, bringing the eyes to calm. So on the inhale, hum on the exhale. So on the inhale, hum on the exhale, flowing behind the eyes. And then I'd like you to imagine that channel of light that flows from the brow to the back of the head. This is the Ajna chakra, the brow chakra. And that beneath this there is the shaft of light, which is within the astral spine, that flows down through the neck, heart, navel, sacrum, towards the perineum. So we have this channel of light within the spine, and that you can look down this channel of light. I'd like you to imagine that this channel of light were filled with blue, more like a liquid than a light. And that this liquid is around the base chakra. So it's a pool of blue liquid at the base. And that as you breathe in, then this blue liquid rises in the spine, perhaps to the level of the sacrum. And as you breathe out, it settles back to the base. Blue liquid rising in the spine to the level of the sacrum in the spine, and breathing out it settles back down. So explore that rising to the level of the sacrum. Another few breaths. So the breath is the agent that allows this blue liquid, this blue light to rise, and the breath out instructs this blue liquid to settle back down into the base. This blue liquid is filled with peace. And perhaps exploring that the next time that you breathe in, that the liquid rises to the level of the navel in the spine, and that in the breath out it settles back down into the base. And then perhaps the next time that you breathe in, allowing this blue liquid to rise in the spine to the level of the heart. And then as you breathe out, it's settling back down into the base, and that reservoir at the base. Peace rising as a blue liquid or light in the spine to the level of the heart. On the inhale, and settling back down to the base on the exhale. So one by one we're transforming each one of the chakras, bringing peace into the level of the heart is to transform our relationships. To bring in compassion. Or forgiveness. And understanding. So with the blue liquid arising as a wave of peace in the spine to the level of the heart, exploring that it arises a little bit further or even into the level of the back of the neck. Perhaps having a mantra, I am peace. Peace I am. Peace is to be unperturbed by anything. Blue liquid rising in the spine in the inhale. I am peace. Holding lightly at the level in the spine that you've reached. And then breathing out, bringing that blue liquid or light down to the base. Peace I am. To embody peace as a quality, as a level of consciousness. I am peace. Peace I am. And then perhaps exploring bringing up this blue liquid, this blue peace up into the Ajna chakra. So it's that channel of light between the front and the back of the head. So bringing it up into the centre of the head. And momentarily holding the breath to contain that peace within the brain before allowing your long exhalation to allow that blue light then to flow back down into the base. Perhaps your observational level is within the head, that as you breathe in, you can observe that blue liquid or light flowing up through the spine into the head. And as you breathe out, without holding on to anything, whether it's result or observation, just allowing it to flow back down into the base. I am peace. Peace I am. And the next time that your awareness is back down into the base, I'd like you to allow that visualization to fade and instead imagine that you were the bulb of a lotus flower deep in the silt in the bottom of a lake. And this represents the world of Maya or illusion, this state of not knowing, but holding all of the potential of life, of growth, of awareness. And that stirring in the silt, your bulb awakens, sending a strong, powerful shoot up through the waters of illusion to open out into the surface of the water, opening out into the most exquisitely beautiful lotus flower, petals facing towards the sun. So that even though you may be on the earth, as shown by your bulb in the roots, down into the silt in this world of illusion, so with the upward focus, that even through this silt, the lotus flower extends towards the sun. So can your consciousness extend towards the spiritual sun, opening out into the perfection. That potential is always in the inside. So visualizing that your consciousness is flowing upward through the spine and opening out onto the crown of the head in the most beautiful lotus flower, many exquisite petals soaking up the spiritual sunlight. Each petal emanating a light of its own. The more awake and aware you become, the brighter the petals shine. This is seen as the bright aura around about religious figures, notably the figure of Christ. And imagining that your lotus flower from the crown chakra were emanating the perfume of peace. So this is finer than ripples on a lake. This is in pure ether consciousness. Your perfume is emanating, touching the hearts and souls of many. That your perfume falls indiscriminately, touching many souls. Your peace emanates from within, flowing outward through the crown, carried on the perfume of peace. And allowing your heart to be open, flowing with peace. And using one word, peace, mentally peace. Peace in front, peace to the left, peace behind, peace to the right, peace beneath, peace above, peace within. The epicenter of peace is in the heart. Eternally blowing peace flames from the heart. So those peace flames flowing from the heart not only transform your own being, they transform those around you. Peace. Peace. Looking out over a tranquil sea with one word, peace. Stilling the waves. Peace. Stilling the current beneath the waves. Peace. And knowing that you can bring your willpower to calm those inner waves into stillness, to bring the inner waves to the stillness of a mill pond, just with one word, peace. Breathe it out across the water and bring yourself to peace. All it takes is a little practice. And then having a prayer to finish off with, in which we send out that peace out into the world. I'd like you to imagine that the world were a spinning globe in the centre of the room, perfectly, beautifully blue and green, spinning slowly, beautifully perfect. May there be peace on earth. May all beings be at peace. May the waters of the planet brim with peace. May the winds carry the scent of peace. And may it lift the heaviness on any soul, revealing the inner peace within. May all beings everywhere be at peace. May there be peace on the earth, the universe and the stars. Everything at all times is at peace. And may that peace come to me. And then letting the vision of the earth gently spinning recede from our vision. Om Shanti Peace.
With warmest delight, this podcast was brought to you by Jenny Light. Find out more about Jenny's courses, retreats, workshops and publications at living-lightly.co.uk. Blessings on your spiritual path.